probably can create arguments with people. It hasn't really created a lot of arguments with me. When they do that, I pretty much, it makes me not want to talk to them no more. Okay, let me kind of remake this. I made this once. Whatever one is better, I'm just going to upload that one. I made this a couple days ago. I want to redo it because I want to stay more on top. I kind of jumped too many times. Okay. Something about NI users. INFJs and INTJs, I'm talking to you. This is a neutral observation. Well, maybe more of a neutral observation, but I'm also going to talk about some issues I've had with it maybe. So maybe it's not a neutral observation. Most of my observations are neutral observations, though. It's just things I've noticed. They're not me having a problem with it or talking about how I feel about it. It's just me talking about observations, like shit I've noticed. So let me talk about NI users and NI users. NI DOM specifically. I haven't had this problem with ENTJs or ENFJs. I had a problem with NI DOMs. NI DOMs, they have this thing they do where it's a communication problem they can have with people. And I'm bringing up the issue because maybe if you being aware of the issue, you can figure out a way to fix it, or not even fix it, or being aware of stuff helps, because when you're aware of something without you even thinking, you'll think of, without you thinking as a human being, you'll try to adapt or something, just from being aware of it. That's why it's important to be aware of things. You'll do it almost unconsciously, because that's what we do. We're humans. But anyways, communication issue with NI users. NI users sometimes have problems listening to people. It's just a problem y'all have. Sometimes y'all suck at listening to people. Y'all can think that y'all are listening very well, but y'all sometimes suck at listening. And I'm gonna explain what I'm talking about. Pretty much what I'm talking about is, for me, I'm gonna use myself as an example. When I'm talking to NI Dom, sometimes I'll be talking to them, they won't be listening. They'll hear maybe the first part of what I said, and then from there they'll just already start drawing their own conclusions up in their mind, painting a picture already, before they gathered enough information. So this can be a good thing sometimes, because they can figure a lot of stuff out. If they do it right, they can figure a lot of stuff out and things like that in a conversation, if they do it right. But sometimes the thing is, they do it so much, they sometimes do it wrong. This is why I think I had more of this problem with NI DOMs than I do with the ENTJ and ENFJ. Because they don't do it they don't do it so often to the point where they're gonna do it wrong as often. So they won't mess up with it as often because they're not doing it 24/7. And I DOMs do it so much that they do it wrong sometimes. They just don't listen sometimes. They too much in their own head with what you, they might hear one part about what you said, then they just go off. And wait a minute, and at that point, there's no point in talking to them, because they've already drawn a conclusion that's a false conclusion based off what you said, or they might have tried to act like they got you figured out now all of a sudden too. They do that too. They'll try to act like they got you figured out and all that, and they haven't finished listening to what you said. They do it too soon. It's wait a minute, you can't stop them at that point. There's no stopping them because they already got their mind made up. It could be a problem because they have a problem communicating with people. They'll have a problem with listening to all of what is said. They'll just think they know already. They think they know. It's dude, and you can't convince them. It's dude, that is not what I said. They pretty much won't hear none of what you said because they already be kind of annoying sometimes when they do that. I get along with both types, but that can be kind of annoying. He probably can create arguments with people. It hasn't really created a lot of arguments with me. When they do that, I pretty much, it makes me not want to talk to them no more, if they do it too much. So it's not I get in arguments with them for it. I just won't want to talk to you, won't want to be bothered with you. I don't got time for all that drama trying to, whatever. And funny thing is, I've also seen this with, I've seen actually ISFPs kind of do that, but it's a little different because they got the FI dimes. It's different though. They don't do that mostly when they listen to you talk. They do it more of when they just judging you as a person. They can kind of do that. FI dimes can do that. Not even just dimes. All FIUs can kind of do that. But that's a whole nother topic. I'm gonna talk about that later. FI dimes can actually be, FIUs can be judgmental actually. They're the most non-judgmental types, but they can have their moments too where they're judgmental. But I'm talking about that later. But NI dime do this, and they'll do that. Well, what they do is they create a narrative in their head or a story in their head about what you said, and it can lead to them creating it about like you as a person and whole too sometimes. They can carry a narrative, or they could like how you feel. They can create a false narrative about how you must feel about something or whatever, and they can just run with it. And now everything from then on, everything you say from then on that precedes that, it's just going to fit their little narrative they made up, and it don't matter what you say. Like at that point, they say they just misinterpret everything you're saying at that point to fit their narrative. That's what they do. It's a problem. That's it. Okay, so now it's brought to y'all attention. Do what you want with it. What's up, y'all? Something I forgot to mention too with my points. I hope you guys can see me, but something I did forget to mention. I have actually, more on ENTJs and ENFJs, I've had communication issues with ENFJs, but I don't know if it's actually because of the NI. I mostly do have communication issues with ENFJs. I think when I talk, they don't get, I think they maybe, because I use so much introverted thinking, they just have problems understanding what I'm saying a lot of times. I don't know if it's for the same reasons as when I was talking about NI dimes. But they do too. ENTJs, I don't think I really had that problem with ENTJs because they got TE, they dominant functions TE. They a little more, they'll ask questions, man. They'll ask you before they make, I don't know if that's the reason, or maybe we just, because we're both thinkers, we just are able to just understand each other better. Like, my best friend growing up was an ENTJ. Like, literally for most majority of my life, we did kind of drift apart at certain points, but it was for different reasons, just living circumstances. But yeah, he was my best friend growing up, pretty much all through school. I knew him since we was like 8. I hadn't talked to him in probably a couple years, honestly. Here and there, I'd say, hey, how you doing? What's up? Honestly, I haven't talked to him, but I say for the most part, my main best friend is an ENTJ. But yeah, we don't really have that problem. We just kind of on the same wavelength for the most part, logically. So I don't know. I think just because we're both thinkers. I've had that problem with ENFJ, but I say NI dimes do it more often, specifically with the NI. ENFJs, I think it's just like, because I'm so logical, they I don't know, maybe they see things through a more emotional lens too much and they don't understand. They have a problem understanding why I'm not like them. Like, I don't know, man, but I don't really have no problem. I still don't have a huge issue with ENFJ, no type really. I'm just saying, like, that's just a problem. So, thanks for watching.